Becoming the best version of yourself does not mean just looking good with your shirt off and being able to squat and bench press a whole bunch of weight. No. Becoming the best version of yourself means more so mentally. What's going on underneath the surface? That's where true confidence comes from. That's where true character traits like leadership, discipline, integrity, that's where that stems from. Not how you physically look, but how you're mentally prepared and how you're mentally overcoming some of these challenges in life. Now, as a man, I firmly believe how you do one thing is how you do everything. And you can't just focus on filling up your cup in just the physical realm where you're working out, you're eating healthy. I mean, sure, that's great. But remember, overcoming some of those challenges in life, that's where you're not going to need physical strength. Most often, you're going to need mental and emotional strength for that. So, filling up your cup in all areas. And I like to say there's essentially four pillars when it comes to becoming the best version of yourself, right? And these can be looked at the four pillars of your well being. And that's your physical, your mental, your emotional, and your spiritual. And since starting our coaching program in 2017 and helping thousands of guys, it has been such a blessing to pour into them. Not just helping them on their physical journey, but also helping them mentally, emotionally, and spiritually as well. And in today's video, I want to break down just some of the self-help practices that we like to go over and the importance on how we do things and why we do it to just help our members get better physical results by helping them also become the best version of themselves mentally as well. Now, let me just say this before we dive in. Some of these self-help practices you're going to like, and there's going to be a few of them you're not going to like, and that's perfectly fine, right? I'm all about coaching and teaching people what works best for their body type and how to create sustainable habits. Same thing applies to the mindset techniques as well that we're going to go over here in a little bit. So just like how, let's say working out, for example, somebody has a bad back and they can't do squats, they can't do deadlifts. Well, that's perfectly fine, right? Those exercises would not be useful for that individual, but somebody else that, let's say they have a great back and, they enjoy those exercises, then great. Right? They're going to get workouts with squats and deadlifts, okay? There might be another person that, let's just say, they hate full body workouts, right? They just don't enjoy them at all. They'd rather do like a body part split. Once again, you might have somebody else that enjoys full body workouts. So the reason why I'm telling you this is because how I like to help our coaching members is by working with them personally, right? With the nutrition, with the workouts, with the mindset, to just figure out what helps them on their journey to become the best version of themselves. So I don't want you to think, oh, well, Joe just gave me a huge list of all these self-help practices, that they go over inside their coaching program, so I'm going to do every single one of them. No. The name of the game for working on your mindset is what is just going to help you, right, look at life a little bit more positive rather than negative. What's going to help you start looking at glass, being half full rather than half empty? What's going to help you, right, start to see the light at the end of the tunnel? So that way, hey, it's not just doom and gloom and, it's giving you a sense of hope, especially when you're dealing with challenges, which you will. Everybody goes through challenges, and that's the importance of working on your mindset, because they help you see things from a different perspective. Let's say there's an injury, right? If you're not working on your mindset, you can be very, very upset about that. And really that could take you off course of, working on your physical body and eating healthy because you're like, what's the point? I can't work out anymore. But now somebody else can look at that injury and see it as a blessing in disguise because they're working on their mindset. Because now they can say, okay, hey, I can't go to the gym because of the injury, but now I can dial in even more to hitting my macros and become even efficient and better, right, when it comes to nutrition, and also spend more time working on my mindset. So once again, the reason why I'm telling you all this is because some of these mindset techniques, I want you to just figure out what is going to be the one that's just going to resonate with you and help you. One that you can fit into your daily routine, one that fits in good with your schedule, but also one that resonates with you just to help you not be a negative Debbie Downer. One that just shifts your perspective on, wow, I actually have a lot of abundance in my life. And hey, things are going great for me, even though I can't see it yet, but I'm going to stay optimistic and hopeful for the future. That's why this is important. So now that you understand that, let's dive in. The first self-help practice is gratitude. Now there's multiple ways that you can do this. You could actually have a physical journal, which you're writing down the things that you're grateful for. It could be also just a mental reminder where, let's say, before you get out of bed, so you wake up, You close your eyes, try your best not to fall back asleep, but maybe mentally, you're just visualizing all the things that you're grateful for in your life. It's called actually like a gratitude walk, where mentally, right, you're not actually physically doing this, but mentally, you're going through room, right, and just saying like, man, I'm so grateful for my clothes. I'm so grateful for, if let's say you're in the bathroom, toilet paper and toothbrush, and doing this mental walk could once again be a game changer for somebody, because now they're starting off their day with gratitude, right? They're seeing all the abundance of the things that they have in their life. When was the last time you were grateful to have toothpaste and toilet paper, right? The second self-help practice is affirmations. I'm a huge fan of affirmations. Even in the Bible, in Proverbs 18:21, it says, "Death and life are found in the power of the tongue." And it's also not just speaking, verbal words, right? It's also thoughts. Like, what are you affirming about yourself to be true? Are you thinking positive thoughts about yourself? Remember, Henry Ford said it best: whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right. And so, like, the things that we're speaking, not just about, others, but all about ourselves, this matters so much. Like, having a relationship with yourself starts with how you treat yourself, starts with how you respect yourself. It's hard to love yourself and find yourself, having enough self-worth if you don't even know how to look at yourself with respect in the mirror. If you don't even know how to say nice, kind things about yourself, I'm just telling you, the relationship that you have with yourself is so important, guys. It truly, truly is. That's what's going to lead to more self-love, self-worth, everything. But we have to be man enough to just admit, hey, what are the thoughts that we're saying to ourselves? Is this accurate or is this not? Is it true or is it not? Is this life or is it death? Because if you're thinking negative thoughts, you got to flip the switch. You really have to start saying more positive things to yourself. And how do we change, right, the negative thoughts in our head? It can be as simple as just saying physical words to ourselves. Literally, whether we're looking at ourselves in the mirror, whether we just wake up and we're saying affirmations, whatever the case may be, and this doesn't have to be woo-woo or nonsense. Like, it could be as simple as you being at the gym, that bench is across your bar and you're struggling on bench press. You're like, hey, I got this. I'm a beast, right? Like, these are affirmations. Whether you're waking up and you're saying, hey, I'm going to have a great day at work, you're affirming that. You're declaring that. You would probably tell your child, if they got an A+ on a math test, hey, great job, I'm proud of you. You would probably tell your spouse, if they got a promotion at work, great job, I'm proud of you. Why don't we tell the same things about ourselves? Like, hey, we woke up today, I'm proud of you, great job. Hey, we're going to go crush it today, I'm proud of you, keep it up. Like, hey, you never give up. Hey, you continue to strive to become the best version of yourself. Like, these conversations that we're having with ourselves, or I should say the conversations that we should be having with ourselves, are so important. How can you expect to love others if you don't love yourself? I think it was also Gandhi that once said is, if you want to change the world, start with changing yourself. So be the change that you want to see within the world, and maybe start loving on yourself. And how do we do that? Once again, affirmations. Now, the third practice that we like to go over is called self-reflection. I'm a huge fan of this. If you're somebody that wants to gain more confidence in your life and literally flip the switch and start seeing things as the, hey, I'm a winner mentality and I got this and I can overcome this and look at all these wins that I've been stacking up, hear me out. You want to focus on doing this exercise. It is the easiest exercise to do. It is not hard by any means, but it means you have to do it. It's an action, okay? And all you have to do, you can do this on your phone, you can do this on pen and paper, maybe even just do it on your gratitude journal if you're writing down things that you're grateful for, in a journal first thing in the morning. But regardless, at the end of the day, all you're doing is just mapping out anywhere from 10 to 20 wins that you had. And this does not have to be your big firework wins, right? Like, no, it can be small wins. Like, you did the dishes, you packed your lunch, whatever the case may be. But here's what happens when you start just writing down your wins. And once again, it could be small wins, big wins, medium-sized wins, it doesn't matter. Just anywhere from 10 to 20 wins that you had throughout the course of the day. When you start recapping your wins, all you're doing is seeing things from a perspective of, I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. You're teaching your subconscious mind to say, look at all the things I'm doing right. Because often we constantly see how far we are away from our goals. We constantly see like, man, I should be here by now. I should have got this already, right? We don't actually see that progression. And sometimes we have to look at it, even if it's just 1% better each and every day. Hey, I'm still progressing. Like, sure, I didn't hit any workouts today at the gym, but I went to the gym and I didn't feel like it. That's a win. Hey, I did this today at work and I didn't feel like doing it, but I did it regardless. Hey, I held that door open for somebody, leaving the grocery store, like that's a win, right? We have to start looking at things from a perspective of us winning, because then we can start saying like, man, look at once again all the abundance that I have in my life. Look at all the great things that I'm doing, rather than looking at our goals and saying, man, they're so far away. I'm never going to be there, right? This is going to be such a hard journey for me. It's like, no, we can see that on the course of us trying to become our best version of ourselves and achieve our goals, we can take a look at, man, I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. So what it does is it helps takes our goals off the pedestal, and now we can focus on just day in and day out. How do I continue to win? How do I continue on this hot streak, right? This habit of just winning and winning and winning and winning. And a simple practice is by literally just writing down your wins, 10 to 20, big or small. Physically write it out, put it in your phone, doesn't matter. If you want to gain, once again, more confidence, start doing this practice. Now, those first three that I went over with you, the gratitude, the affirmations, the self-reflection, those are actually pretty easy ones. These next three that we're going to go over, these are kind of difficult to do, and it takes practice. Nobody became a master of anything overnight. So sometimes you have to give yourself grace and just say, hey, I know this is going to have a positive effect on my life if I start doing it, but also no one's going to become a master overnight. So give yourself grace and realize that some of these practices, it's just that, a practice. It's going to take time before you get better with them. And the next three are breath work, visualization, and meditation. So let's talk about breath work, and let's make this very simple. Okay, I know there's some guys out there like Wim Hof that, you go sit in an ice lake and you focus on your breathing and, get into this monk mode mentality. That's great, right? But maybe we're not on that level yet. I know I definitely am not, okay? When it comes to breath work, we want to make this super simple, and it's called the box technique. And this is where you're breathing in through your nose anywhere from 4 to 6 seconds. You're holding it from 4 to 6 seconds. You're breathing out of your mouth 4 to 6 seconds, and then you're holding it again 4 to 6 seconds. A box. That's all you're doing, okay? And this is why it's so important. There's going to be plenty of times where you lose your temper. Plenty of times where something happens to you, right? Where it could be even something that you see, whether on social media and you're scrolling. It could be something that you see on the news. It could be something that you overhear at work or at home. There's going to be plenty of times in your life where something happens and instantly, right, you get a negative emotion or you see something and you're triggered and it makes you feel upset or angry or whatever. Like this is why it's so important to guard your mind, guard the things that you see, right? So that way you can take more control. But with that being said, there's going to be several times where you're going to lose control and you're going to be faced with this reaction, right, of these emotions. And in that split moment, it's very hard, right? Because you don't want to just go ahead and feed into your emotions. If it makes you upset, you might do something or say something that you regret, right? So sometimes just taking a step back. You're not reacting, you're not responding, you're just taking a step back and you're observing the situation. But observing the situation, you want to make sure that you have a clear head. And this is why the breath work technique is so important. I have helped so many people, especially with stress at work, just focus on this. And you're going to need a reminder, whether that's like a sticky note somewhere at your, your work desk or something like that, or a, reminder on your phone. But it's to just focus. Hey, when life seems to be eating you up, stress, high emotions, negative, all that stuff, right? Take a step back and just breathe. Focus on this box method, right? You're breathing in, holding your breath, breathing out, holding your breath. And what that's doing is just lowering those emotions at hand. That's it. And remember, right, sometimes we just need to take a step back, control what we can control. Because there's always going to be times where, hey, we saw this or somebody said this, and all of a sudden if we start reacting on our emotions, we're letting our emotions control us rather than us controlling our emotions. And it's a lot easier said than done, but practicing that breath work can just say, hey, we're going to pause right here. And instead of us responding or reacting, we're going to take a step back. We're going to collect our thoughts and we're going to collect our emotions by first just breathing, settling things down. To really help you put this in a better perspective, think about your nervous system. You have a parasympathetic nervous system, right? And then you have a sympathetic nervous system. Well, your parasympathetic nervous system, this is homeostasis. This is that balance, right? This is you being in a powerful state. You're not letting your emotions control you, right? You're in control over the situation. But then we have a sympathetic nervous system, and this is a primal state of being, which you don't want to be in. This is that fight or flights. This is underneath stress. This is where your emotions run wild. So this breathwork technique just helps you cool yourself down, where you're not in a state of stress, you're not in a state of worry, you're not in a state of panic. You're once again taking ownership of your emotions back. Now let's talk about visualization. And personally, I love visualization. There's been so many celebrities and athletes that have talked about visualization. The Rock, Conor McGregor, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Michael Phelps, LeBron James, like all the athletes, all the celebrities, everybody talks about it. And remember, right, the wise quote from Henry Ford, whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right. And sometimes we have to see things in our head first before we can see things with holding our hands. Okay, the reality is, hey, everything is first created. Before this computer was created, somebody first saw it up here. Before your cell phone was created, somebody first saw it up here. So you need to be able to see yourself. Okay, you need to be able to see yourself as what is the person I'm trying to become? Not just physically, but also mentally, emotionally, spiritually. How do they act around their family? How do they act at work? Are they confident in their own skin? You know, on a hot summer day at the beach, are they taking off their shirt, right? And they're full of confidence. You know, like, once again, you want to be able to pinpoint, map that out, and get as crystal clear as possible. And the reason why visualizing is so important is because it helps you stay in the game. Remember, this is a practice just for yourself. Nobody can visualize yourself being great. You have to visualize yourself being great. And let me tell you a little story about how important this is. There's a man called Roger Bannister. You probably heard me talk about this numerous of times. He was the first person ever to complete a 4-minute mile run. Now, before he was able to complete that, everybody, literally everybody, thought it was impossible. Doctors thought that the human heart would explode if somebody was able to complete a 4-minute mile run. He tried and he failed multiple times, but he did not give up. He continued to visualize. He continued to see himself, completing that 4-minute mile run and completing it after the finish line with, the timestamp of, hey, being underneath 4 minutes. He saw that in his head before it actually happened. And sure enough, he tried. It took multiple attempts, but he never gave up. And eventually, he passed the test. And he became the first person ever to complete that mile in underneath 4 minutes. And what that did was break so many self-limiting beliefs for all of these people that was out there, right? Now, high schoolers are able to complete a mile in underneath 4 minutes. High schoolers now. But it all happened because of Roger Bannister. So I want you to think about yourself right now and the importance of visualizing, because maybe you're in your 40s, maybe your 50s, maybe 60s, maybe even your 70s. And you're thinking to yourself, man, I'm too old and I can't get in the best shape and I can't have six-pack abs and I've been on these medications for so long, I'm never going to get off of them. Like, that's the wrong thinking patterns, right? Start thinking more positive. Start thinking more of the glass being half full. Start thinking more of like the light at the end of the tunnel. Remember, Henry Ford said it best, whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right. So start thinking of yourself as who is the person that you're trying to become? And you never know what kind of positive that effect could have on others. Maybe your family, maybe your loved ones, maybe your coworkers. And it's simply because you were the one that took control. You were the one that says, hey, I got this. I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to give up. Even though right now I don't have the results, the physique that I want, I'm working towards it. I'm progressing towards becoming that person. And mentally, right? Maybe not in the mirror, you don't see it yet, but mentally, you can see you with abs. You can see you with a chiseled chest. You can see you having tons of energy and doing pull-ups and benching 315 pounds. Whatever it is that your goals are, you need to be able to see it up here first because it helps you stay within the game. It's almost like your pre-workout before getting the day started, especially if you do this first thing in the morning. You're literally, starting off the day, rewiring your subconscious mind as, hey, this is the person I'm striving for. So now when it comes to like better eating habits, better training habits, and sticking with your course of your routine to stay more disciplined to becoming that person, you're already seeing it happen. You're like, I just got to follow through. I just need to have the integrity. I just need to be more disciplined and stay focused and not fall off track. Well, guess what? Visualizing yourself already on track, already having success at achieving your goals, that's going to help you out so much. Now, the last one is meditation, and this is a hard one, especially if you're somebody like myself that struggles with, ADHD and you're having a hard time to focus. Meditation really is a practice, and it took me a long time before I got the simple fact of getting meditation down. Because normally I would have to listen to a guided self-meditation, or I would try to do it on myself and I just end up falling asleep. It's a practice. It's a practice that is definitely worthwhile, especially if you make small little investments into it every single day. And that's what I want you to do to start off, right? Start off anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes. Now, you can do this through guided meditations on YouTube. There's literally thousands of them. You can do this also by just focusing on your breath work as well. That is perfectly fine. Your mind is going to wander, okay? Your mind is going to think about all these different thoughts, and it's going to be very difficult in the very beginning stages. And the reason why I'm telling you that is because I want to be upfront and honest. There's going to be so many times where you're going to be feeling like, this is so stupid. Why am I even doing this? But hear me out. It has such a compound effect, such a great ROI once you get it down, right? And you can steal, right, the monkey mind, I like to say, and just quiet it for a split second. Because remember, okay, a lot of the stress that we deal with, it's outside of our thoughts. It's outside of our control. It's these things that we want to be able to control, but we literally can't. And meditation helps so much when it comes to just calming down, putting in a sense of peace, putting in a sense of just more bliss, more joy, where you can just relax. Keyword, relax. Lowering your cortisol levels, okay? And you want to make sure that you find a meditation that just works for you. Whether it's 5 minutes, whether it's 10 minutes, eventually if you continue it on, maybe it is eventually 20, 30 minutes. And then, hey, instead of using a guided meditation like how you were in the very beginning, maybe after a few short months or even a few short years, hey, now you're doing more transcendental meditations where it's not so much guided. Now it's just a binaural beats and you can just focus on this. Whatever can help you, do it. Because there is so much research, so many benefits to meditating. The list goes on. And we're not talking about just self-help practices here. We're talking literally about physically, right? Just lowering blood pressure, lowering cortisol levels, right? Putting you in a state of relaxation, helping you also with your muscles recover, injuries even, by just simply meditating. And I encourage you, instead of me making a video going on and on about the benefits, right? I encourage you, do your own research. But just like all the other self-help practices that I just talked about, the gratitude, the affirmations, the self-reflection, the breath work, the visualization, and here also with the, meditation, don't feel like you need to do every single one, right? And don't feel like, oh man, Joe said this one was so good, but I'm not good at doing that. It doesn't really resonate with me. It doesn't matter what I said. What matters is, hey, what can help you look at the light at the end of the tunnel? What can help you stay more focused? What can help you stay more disciplined? Because remember, just like training a body, some people are going to like full body workouts. Some people are not. Some people are going to like barbell bench press and some people are not. It's just how it is. You got to find what is going to work for you. What is going to help you just stay more focused on your goals? What is going to help you, take your goals off a pedestal? What's going to help you just be more of a positive person? What's going to help you with your confidence? What's going to help you with your mindset? That's all it is. All of these practices, right? There's not a one size fits all. It's all up to you to kind of figure out, hey, what is going to be the one that resonates with me? And even with that being said, right, there's going to be several seasons of life where maybe one season, hey, you're in a good flow with gratitude and you've been doing that for so long where now it's just kind of going through the motions and it doesn't really resonate with you so much. So you don't really need to do it so as often. And that's perfectly fine. perfectly fine. Don't be married to anything, right? Don't be married to a self-help practice and think, oh, I have to do this for the rest of my life. Don't be married to, a certain macronutrient group or diet and say I have to do this for the rest of my life. Don't be married to a workout routine and say, oh, I have to do this for the rest of my life. Like, that's the wrong mindset to have. Okay? You want to realize here, like, you being the controller, right? You being the hero of your own, movie. That's essentially what it is. You're making your character traits better. You're making your skill sets better. And so sometimes you're in a season of life where you're growing on these different skills as opposed to other seasons of life where you're growing on a different set of skills. It's okay. Okay. And this is the importance of becoming the best version of yourself, not just physically, but also mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, where now you get to roll with the punches. Now you're just building yourself up so that way when life throws you curveballs, which it will, you have just more tricks up your sleeve to kind of handle and roll through the punches to learn how to overcome those challenges. Because let's face it, new levels require new devils. And it's all about you becoming the best version of yourself to handle those devils head on. Now, one little bonus tip before we end today's video is to keep your goals top of funnel, right? And so what do I mean by that? Well, your RAS, your reticular activating system, you want to have your goals where you're constantly seeing them. Now, not obsessing over them. You never want to put your goals on a pedestal, but having it where it's always out and about could be just a great reminder to help you shift your focus back on your goals. That might be changing your phone wallpaper to a strong, deep-rooted Y, something that resonates with you. Maybe that's changing your wallpaper or your screensaver, on your computer. Maybe that's having sticky notes somewhere or some pictures somewhere. Maybe even creating a vision board for yourself, or just even printing up a documentation, almost like a manifesto of your goals. And remember, having your wallpaper on your phone or computer, having a vision board, having a manifesto out that you're reading every single day, it's nothing to obsess over. Oh, here's me with my goals and I need to strive to be 210% better each and every day. No, it's just taking a perspective, just say, hey, we're working towards this goals and here's our pre-workout for the day. Whether, once again, we're looking down on our phone and we're seeing maybe a picture with our shirt off of how we used to look when we're in the best shape of our life, that's going to make us feel good. That's going to be the reminder like, hey, let's work out today. Let's track our macros. Maybe it's looking at a vision board of all your goals that you want to accomplish when you are in the best shape of your life or what it is that you're striving for. It's going to help you get out of bed. It's going to help you stay more focused. Whether you're reading a piece of paper as a manifesto and has everything outlined for you, maybe it's your goals, your affirmation, maybe even like a little alter ego of yourself to just say, hey, this is the person I'm trying to become. And by reading this every single day, just helps me feel better. Just gives me that little amp, that little boost of energy, almost like a pre-workout to just strive to becoming that 1% better each and every day, working towards my goals. And just remember, guys, what works well for somebody does not mean it's going to work the best for you, and vice versa. What works the best for you does not mean it's going to work the best for somebody else. You want to figure out what is going to work the best for you, especially what is just going to help you mentally stay in the game, because that's going to be a lot easier for you to physically achieve the results that you're looking for. It's all about you investing in yourself in all areas. Physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, filling up your cup so that way it can be more of an asset and pour more out into others. I really hope that you guys get a lot of value from today's episode. If you did, definitely give this video a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below letting me know your biggest takeaway. And as always, guys, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. This has been Coach Joe with Heartletics.com, and I'll talk to you in the next episode. Peace out, Girl Scouts.